that you think are causing you not to recognize these assemblies as a legitimate meeting. And he says, over my dead body. I do not want to listen to those. Mr. Speaker, we don't want the dead bodies. For God's sake, he's alive, we are alive. We don't want dead bodies. We can't work together. We are recommending to Council and to the Secretary General, please, where I have tried to read at the history of those who held the positions of clerk in this assembly. We have never, this is unprecedented. The House and the Assembly has never been in this situation before, Mr. Speaker. This House today is sending a cry, while we are all alive, that we ask and urge Council that today herein we are declaring our powers within the treaty in terms of declaring and saying that that particular acting clerk has lost favor in terms of good working relationship with the members and indeed the organs of this assembly, including the commission. Just this morning and yesterday, the confrontations between one individual, Mr. Kadonya, the acting clerk, and the commission of this House, Mr. Speaker, was ugly, unprecedented, cannot be described in words, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this House has spoken. These members are fed up. Everybody seated here, Mr. Speaker, is asking and urging the council members to hear our plea and to replace this acting clerk and to immediately fast track the substantive appointment, the appointment of the substantive clerk. Mr. Speaker, we have capable people, East Africans in all our cities. In Dodoma here, we can get from recommendations from the Assembly, from Speaker of the Assembly of Tanzania, Speaker Ndugayo, able Tanzanians, members of this community who can perform this function with excellence. I truly, truly celebrate the time that we spent with one Mr. Madete and his deputy, Mr. Obat. To be honest with you, they are exemplary East Africans who served with honor. And not a single day did I ever hear complaints. Did I ever hear, I chaired the budget committee in that particular time when we went through very difficult motions of adjustment of our budgets, Mr. Speaker. The support I got from one Mr. Madete, our clerk, I can never forget it till this day. Mr. Speaker, Kadonya was given an opportunity by the people of East Africa to prove himself. He has failed. We, the members of this House, are saying he can no longer work with us. He can continue to be the principal clerk he is. No problem with that. We are not saying that he's fired. It's not what this assembly is saying. But as an acting member, but as an acting clerk to this assembly, Mr. Speaker, he has failed us. We are sending our appeal to council to fast track and expedite the soonest possible, as soon as tomorrow, Mr. Speaker. All the organs are here. The council is here. The secretariat headed by SG is here. You are the head of EALA. You are here. Mr. Speaker, the powers given the treaty does not require intervention of summit for an assistant clerk. These organs are here. Please help us beginning tomorrow so that we can continue to work properly. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Abdikadir. Honorable Deng, Guy Deng.
My microphone is not working, so I'll have to move here. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to participate and respond to the timely motion brought by Honorable Mbidi. Let me start first, Honorable Speaker, by saying that extreme and bad things happen when good people do nothing. I'm not standing here today to debate the legality or illegality of whether we should keep Mr. Kadonya or not. The bottom line, Honorable Speaker, we were elected to carry out a mandate. And in that election to carry out our mandate, we expect to be supported technically, administratively, physically in terms of facilitation, and we expect cooperation from the people that are working with us in the assembly. I'm not going to repeat a lot of the things that have already been said, and the motion itself clearly enumerated the problems and the frustrations that we have gone through. Just one thing, Honorable Speaker, and I think Honorable Adan has already mentioned it, this issue of whether we are actually here legally or illegally. To me, it is such a complex and such an important issue that the Speaker had to call the meeting, that the substantive or the acting clerk, which is his responsibility. The issue is not subordination. The issue is the reluctance and the refusal to actually work with the assembly. That begs the question. So who is he taking his instructions from? The commission and the chair of the commission, in your as the chair of the commission, Honorable Speaker, you are the ones who basically manage and guide how the assembly is going to function in terms of scheduling. We have an approval of the calendar for the year. It states clearly that we have got 6 sessions per year, and we also passed a budget of 6 plenaries. Now, if there is a question that that budget has not been accepted, we haven't heard any contest from anybody to say that this budget has not been assented to. So the question, Honorable Speaker, here is this. Maybe sometimes there are personality clashes. Maybe Mr. Kadonia doesn't like working with the assembly, because if he knows what his role is, which I am sure he does, all of the debates that happen within the commission, all the instructions, all the instructions from the commission and the chair of the commission, some of it he accepts, some he doesn't. But the question is this, how can we work like that? We spent the last 2 years basically between whether we should be here, whether we should be virtually, whether we should be paid, whether our tickets should be issued, whether they shouldn't be issued. How can an assembly with a mandate as large as what we have function in this environment, wasting our energy debating things that actually is not going to further us in our mandate? So just to take the example of Honorable Fancy about the facilitation of the tickets. I mean, this is really a simple matter. It is an administrative issue. It shouldn't really take the time for us to debate it. But extreme situations call for us to look at all of these examples so that we are able to reach a conclusion. My ticket, Honorable Speaker, which is returning on the 30th of this month, is going through Addis, where I have to spend the night. I mean, with this COVID, I really am not interested to do it, and I'm not going to use the ticket. But why does it have to happen that way? There are routes that are very easy. I work in the travel industry. It's very easy to find a booking. We still have 2 weeks. So you cannot convince me that he had to reroute us all the way to another country, spend the night, and then you also have to deal with getting a negative certificate. You don't know what the conditions are there. All of these things, Honorable Speaker, is just showing complete disregard, okay, to us as members of assembly. And I think, as I said before, extreme situations call for extreme measures. Maybe this is not the way that we should have gone through it, but the commission has tried and nothing happened. You had to call the meeting. He doesn't want to do it. So what do we do as members of parliament? We don't have a choice but to take action, Honorable Speaker. So in short, I support the motion because something has to be done. We're not debating the legality or illegality. I think Honorable Mbidi has already enumerated a lot of these things, and I think action has to be done. The time that we have left to do our work, we cannot be spending it trying to figure out whether we should be here or shouldn't be here. I support the motion, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honorable Namar.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. First of all, I want on the onset to support the motion by Senior Counsel Honorable Mukasa Mbide, and also to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for being a very patient man. At some point, I was wondering what is happening with our speaker whom I elected. Actually, I was getting very annoyed with you until I made my investigations and found that you were managing a very unmanageable situation. And you have really tried to have the highest level of patience. I don't think I can even have 10% of that patience. When you know you are the boss and you have a clerk who's supposed to facilitate you, and instead is frustrating your efforts and trying to make you appear bad before the people elected you. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, when I was being sworn in here in 2017, I swore to protect the treaty and also bear true allegiance to this assembly. But also, most importantly, I was elected to ensure that this union of ours, of East African community, becomes stronger by making laws that can further the integration process. Now, the treaty investigated and brought and said we shall have powers as an assembly to recommend it to council. You know, when you hear what Honorable Mbida has presented, I don't even know whether I have any legal provision or any legal clause to add on them, because it has enumerated each and every legal basis of our existence. Ourselves, we are a creature of the treaty, and the treaty gives us functions, powers under the treaty. Very, very clear powers of saying we shall. We shall. The word "shall" is mandatory, is not discretionary. Shall recommend to council the appointment. It means there is no clerk who can be called a clerk without recommendation from this assembly. So anyone purporting to be a clerk is only working under the delegated authority of the Secretary General, because the clerk is a delegate of the Secretary General in as far as handling financial matters are concerned. Right Honorable Speaker, we passed the budget of 6 plenaries with so many things, not even only 6 plenaries. But you imagine a clerk has failed to implement the budget of the assembly as passed. And this is a law, because an appropriation bill is a law. So the clerk says I will not implement it. Acting clerk, actually, Mr. Kadonya decides that I will not implement it as the acting clerk, that because he's quoting directives of council. I respect council so much, 100%. And what he has tried to do is create bad blood between the assembly and council. When you go to interact with our individual council members, and I can speak with authority, we have interacted with our council member from Uganda. He supports this assembly 100%. He even informed us that it would be ridiculous for the speaker, not for the speaker, for anyone, to think that the speaker can call a meeting of the assembly. Then you expect me, Namara, to come from my village, 400 kilometers walking up to Kampala, where I'm supposed to attend a virtual meeting in the video conferencing facilities. But our acting clerk was not at all looking at that. But I think there was an invisible hand, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, because I remember sometime back, we met him in the corridors. He was clear. I was with some senior comrade. I don't know if it was Professor Kalinda or Prime Minister, when we were supposed to attend the pre-budget conference. He says, you people are joking. This assembly will even be scrapped off. Yes, to my face. That this assembly will be scrapped off. So maybe for him and some of his people whom he believes in do not support the East African community. And therefore it is our responsibility, honorable members, to ensure that we put these matters to order. Right Honorable Speaker, as the chairman of General Purpose Committee, I've been facing a lot of challenges. Many members keep inboxing you. Chair, well, when is our money coming? Chair, when are we getting our facilitation? Now, throughout my time, even when I try to, as a chair, to try and communicate with with acting clerk, Mr. Kadonya, he has never at any one point responded to my communication. That shows already the level of insubordination. As a chairperson of a committee, as a leader, as a member of parliament, trying to inquire, to ensure that the plight of members is heard, and he doesn't take it very, very seriously. Therefore, I want to appeal to all of you, honorable members. If we want to bring back the dignity of this assembly, the morale of the members of parliament, because to be sincere with you, Right Honorable Speaker, members' morale had gone from 100% to like 15%. So we request all members that we support the motion by Honorable Mbide that this clerk is hereby suspended, and also request the Secretary General to withdraw the delegated authority of financial matters until when a substantive clerk has been appointed. I beg to move, Right Honorable.
Thank you very much. Honorable Bijema and the Honorable Simon, then I will tell you what should be the direction. Did I mention you initially? Okay. Honorable Bijema, then Honorable Simon. Let's maintain the order, honorable members.
Yes. Honorable, Right Honorable Speaker, thank you to give me the floor, and thank you because I wanted to really to contribute to this motion, and I thank the mover and the seconder. This is very important. Right Honorable Speaker, as a EALA member and as the EAC citizen, sometimes we are confused when we see how people are working in such way. But I'm not shocked to hear and to listen the accusation as they are displayed in this motion, tabled and read by eloquently by Honorable Mbide, according to what we went through. What I can say, Right Honorable Speaker, as one of my colleagues said, you are very patient. Kadenya Charles is not the executive officer of the assembly, but before the commission, his role was merely as a clerk, to expedite him to organize the office. I say again, Right Honorable Speaker, when the clerk is incompetent, associated with insubordination, it becomes a killer, because when you are incompetent, you can get a will of learning, you learn. And when you are insubordinated, you become more incompetent. Right Honorable Speaker, we have the organ within the assembly, the commission. And with the commission, we find it very able commission to handle and to scrutinize some matter, like the case of the acting clerk. I asked my colleague, the Right Honorable Speaker, we can't take lightly this motion or minimizing accusation, because the accusation are affecting the activity of the assembly, which means assembly is negatively impacted. It cannot achieve the activity that it has to do. Right Honorable Speaker, but we have, according to my understanding, I accept and I agree with my colleague, tomorrow it can be it can be suspended. But I wish if you can reserve the power to organ of the assembly, to the commission, even to sit tomorrow, and then to take the decision, and then ask even the EACC to do whatever it can do very quickly. Finally, right, Honourable Speaker, I request that the process of using appropriate tools, I mean, applying laws, rule, and regulation to solve this matter be respected. And this is for the dignity of the assembly. Right, Honourable Speaker, in that way of moving forward and to resolve the assembly the dignity it deserves, that I support the motion. Right, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Simon. Thank you, Dr. William.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. First, I want to thank Honorable Mbide for bringing this important motion, which could have been brought even yesterday, because it is very timely. Mr. Speaker, perhaps the most important question that we should ask today is, who is a clerk? And a clerk, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is a person employed to keep records, accounts, and undertake other routine administrative duties. That is a clerk. Mr. Speaker, history will judge us harshly, wrongly, if we don't put things right.
mention about this motion. I have nothing to mention, and I can quote Chief Kera in his book, Freedom is Not Free. He mentioned, if I can quote, when you have no information about something and you are requested to say something, the only thing you do is to simply shut up. So I will have nothing to say because I have no information. Otherwise, thank you so much for your indulgence. I thank you all. Thank you, honorable members.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable. Honorable, sir, is it still necessary for you to come in? I think it is moot.
Honorable Nakauchi, right, Honorable.
Thank you. So, Honorable Mbide,
Nakauchi.
sum up.
Honorable Nakauchi, right, Honorable. I beg your indulgence.
The microphone
Honorable
is not
Speaker.
on.
Nakauchi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, there are only two things one needs to look at. For every kind of job you are supposed to do, when you are given the tools, judgment as to whether you are capable of performing such a duty is dependent on how you use the tools. If you are given a gun, you are an army of 40 people, and you form a front line of a circle. Obviously, then everybody can know the results of your performance before you even go for war. If your front line is made in the form of a circle. Honorable members, in unity, we can solve this. This is a problem. I thank you so much, Honorable Minister. I have not yet internalized the name, but these guys are good. I didn't know now. Now, where is the problem? They are good. For this purpose, he only has not got the information. And I think we shall produce more information, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, look at the finance rules, Rule 10. Only, just these 2 points. Regulation 10 of the finance rules says, financial resources of the community shall be utilized in accordance with appropriations made in the budget of the community. This is the only basis. So if somebody does not do so, when that person has the tool of financial rules to use, this is the very definition of incompetence. Mr. Kadonya is very incompetent. Article 71.
But you see, Honorable Mbide, you justified. You justified.
Information.
You just needed to respond to what came in the debate.
Yes.
Information.
Not to justify another
Information,
time.
Honorable Mbide.
I
Information.
had requested for only 2, just 2, because these things are sometimes good that members also look at them.
Information.
Because the assembly was grounded pursuant to certain written stuff. There was a pandemic, yes, but the only capable authority to ground the assembly is the commission, not the Secretary General. When you look at Article 71, Article 71M says, the organization and the keeping of records of meetings of institutions of the community is the job of the Secretariat, other than those of the court and the assembly. So this assembly has its powers, and it is incompetence of the highest order for anyone to rely on any other powers other than the assembly to do our own work. I would like to, by this, thank the following members. Honorable Fancy, this colleague, we kept exchanging ideas up to 5:30 a.m. She has not slept. Phone calls. Yes, the interface was majorly
But
online.
you don't, yes, Honorable,
I don't know what
Honorable
speaker.
Speaker, Nakauchi, can I please say something?
Yes,
Yes,
now you see,
Honorable Abdi Kadir.
wait, order, please. Order.
Honorable Nakauchi would like to say
My
something.
worry was that you were going to mention the location where that is.
Honorable Speaker, Nakauchi would like to contribute.
Much obliged, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Deng, Honorable Namara, Honorable Rijema, Honorable Simon, the Honorable Minister, and the Honorable members. I did. Honorable members, I know there was a lot of pressure. All of you wanted to speak, but because of time, you did not. I still thank you. And I request you to vote that this motion passes. And the
Nakauchi
right
would
honorable
want to say
Speaker, you do the
something.
needful to quickly execute the objects of this motion. I beg to move.
Nakauchi wants to contribute, right?
Honorable
Honorable.
members, I now want to. Honorable members, excuse me, order. No, I want to put the question, and the motion before the House is for a resolution of the Assembly to suspend Mr. Charles Kadonya as acting clerk of the Assembly over incompetence and to urge the Secretary General to expedite the process of recruitment of a substantive clerk of the Assembly. Those in favor, raise your hands. Sergeant, do your job. Those, did you not see a member on the screen? Okay. So those against, raise your hands. Those against, raise your hands. Okay, Sergeant, give me the results. Honorable members, I think when we vote using this method, we also have to seek abstentions. Yes. Those abstaining? That's not in order, Honorable Kim. You are out of order. You are out of order when you characterize the vote of a colleague as shameful. Yes, it is out of order completely. Yes. So, honorable members, those in favor are 37. No one is against, and abstentions are 6. So those in favor have it. So the rest is what the commission will do as it's been suggested in the resolution. May I remind you that we have been invited by the Secretary General for dinner. Please don't miss. Ordinarily, we should have been the one to invite him for dinner. But he's invited us for dinner and it is at Mount Meru Hotel. It was supposed to be 7. I sent him a message that would be late, but now please let us proceed there without a further delay. I adjourned the house until tomorrow at 2:30. House adjourned.